Cadbury thought it would be advantageous to just sell the rights to manufacturing their chocolate to Hershey's.
Grave mistake. Hershey's is shit, y'all.
Hey guys, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace. We're the Wandering Ravens.
We are a couple of American digital nomads who are currently living here in Paris, and we make videos on this YouTube channel about British culture.
If that's a topic that interests you, make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the little bell icon so that you can get notified every time we release a new video.
Today we are going to be introducing you to 5 British foods which are pretty much impossible to find in America. These are foods that you're not going to see on your everyday American grocery shelf. You have to know somebody.
You know what we're saying?
Oi, mate, you got the haggis?
Yeah, I'll give you 1 haggis for 5 Cadbury bars.
Worth it.
Let's get into it. But before we do that, make sure you hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm.
Blackcurrant flavored anything.
The blackcurrant is a small, black, and tart berry, which seems to be very popular over in the UK. But across the Atlantic, over 99% of Americans have never tasted a blackcurrant.
This is because from 1911 until 2003, blackcurrants were banned in the United States. And even today, they are still banned in many of the American states. Why were they banned?
It's actually really interesting. Blackcurrants were banned in the USA because the blackcurrant plant produces this fungus that actually damages pine trees. But thanks to science and some genetic modification, there are now blackcurrant plants with berries that are disease resistant and don't have that problem of this fungus that is damaging the pine trees.
So blackcurrants are making a comeback in the United States, but still, many Americans have yet to taste one. I have never tasted one, and I didn't even know that they existed until we went to the UK. So unlike where in the UK, you will find blackcurrant flavored drinks and sweeties in grocery stores, in the United States, you will never see a blackcurrant flavored anything. I think if there was to be an American equivalent of blackcurrants in terms of a flavor that you find in food, it would be cranberries. We have lots of cranberry muffins, cranberry breads.
Cranberry juice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You walk down the juice aisle, everything's
It's all
cranberry in
juice.
it.
Speaking of juice, let's talk about squash, because that is also a British thing that you cannot find in America.
Ever since we have had British friends, we have heard about this thing called squash, which British people make drinks out of. And it was very confusing for us because when they come to the United States, it's described as this elixir, this mysterious substance which they can't find in America, but that is almost life-sustaining.
So the first time I heard of squash, somebody said, like, I'm gonna have some squash or I'm gonna make some squash or something. And so when I saw them drinking it, I was like, is that actually made from squash?
Like the actual
plant. Squash plant.
All that to say, we were a bit disappointed, I'm not gonna lie, when after all of the hype, we found out that squash is really just a concentrated fruit syrup made from water and sugar and fruit and sometimes other little bits of spices like ginger. And from what we understand, British people like to add a little bit of squash syrup to a cup, then you add water or you add carbonated water and you make a drink out of it. So it's a base for a beverage, a refreshing beverage.
As our British friends who visited the US have found out, we don't have squash in the US. You can have a pretty close-ish substitute, I guess, if you were to buy juice concentrate. We have like little canisters full of juice concentrate.
Frozen, like orange juice and stuff like that.
Dilute it with water or dilute it with carbonated water and you get kind of the same-ish feel, perhaps?
Yeah, and we also have fruit juices. So most grocery stores in the States will have a full-on juice aisle, which is kind of like squash, but with the water already added. So we have, you know, apple juice, orange juice, cranberry apple, cranberry orange, cranberry blueberry, cranberry, and 1,000 other varieties of cranberry juice. Genuine Cadbury.
This may come as a surprise to you because there is a common misconception that Cadbury chocolates are banned in the USA. This, however, is not the case, and Cadbury chocolate bars can be found in supermarkets and grocery stores all across America.
What has been banned is UK-produced Cadbury chocolate.
Why is that? It's a bit odd.
Yeah, it is, but I did some research and what I found out was that back in 1988, the Hershey Chocolate Company in the United States actually purchased from Cadbury the rights to produce Cadbury chocolate in the United States.
So that means that Cadbury chocolates that are found in the US are not actually British Cadbury. They're The American bastardization of the same thing.
Well, what happened was Cadbury was trying to enter the American chocolate market and was having a really hard time marketing products to Americans and getting a foothold there.
I mean, we saw that gorilla ad, not gonna lie.
We did. And so in order to advance its marketing efforts in the United States, Cadbury thought it would be advantageous to just sell the rights to manufacturing their chocolate to Hershey's, because Hershey's knew the territory and would manage that wing of Cadbury for them.
It's a grave mistake. Hershey's is shit, y'all.
In the long run, I don't think the strategy really worked out because Cadbury has had a lot of trouble financially over the years. And I mean, even just recently in 2010 was purchased, the whole thing was outright purchased by Kraft Foods, the massive American conglomerate food corporation.
Like the mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Kraft mac and cheese.
Kraft mac and cheese.
So they purchased the UK branch too? Just all of it?
Yeah. So now Hershey's manufactures the American Cadbury, and Kraft, the same company that makes Kraft mac and cheese, is what is in charge of making the chocolate in the UK.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
And apparently there has been some pushback about this because Kraft has come in and tweaked the recipes in the UK a little bit. So not only does American produced Cadbury now taste different, but even UK Cadbury is starting to alter its flavor.
But why does American Cadbury taste different from British Cadbury?
Well, according to Hershey, the Cadbury chocolate produced in the United States is made with the same exact amounts of milk, sugar, and chocolate as the Cadbury chocolate produced in the UK. They even use the same milk from the same European cows.
That's a long traveling milk.
I know, they bring milk all the way over from Europe to the US to make this stuff. And maybe that's why they taste different, is the milk goes off while it's crossing the Atlantic.
All that rolling in the waves.
The only differences are the fat content and the amount of cocoa butter used in the two bars. In the United States, the only fat used is cocoa butter, while in the UK, additional oils like vegetable or palm oil can also be used. So the difference between American Cadbury and British Cadbury is really, really small, but as you guys have probably experienced yourselves, the taste difference is pretty substantial. So if you have had American Cadbury and British Cadbury, what were the differences that you noticed? Drop those comments down below.
Blood pudding.
The US Department of Agriculture, what we call the USDA, has really strict regulations when it comes to the sale of blood, organs like eyeballs and brains and things like that. So while blood pudding is not banned, it is rare and you do have to know where to go to find it, but you can find it. What is banned, however, is actual British blood pudding. So there are no direct imports from Scotland or England of genuine British blood pudding to the US. If you get blood pudding in the United States, it's going to be American made. So while you can purchase Stornoway style black pudding in the United States, you won't find an actual Stornoway blood pudding within the borders of the US of A.
Have you ever had this type of pudding?
I've had blood pudding once at an Irish pub in the United States.
Oh, I didn't know this. Was it good?
I honestly do not remember. A friend and I were on a road trip around the United States. We made a stop off in Boston and we stayed with some Irish folks and they took us to the Irish pub. We had blood pudding there and I think I had, it was
good.
It didn't make a memory, which means that it wasn't terrible. You've had blood pudding. You've had Korean blood pudding.
Only Korean blood pudding. I had kids trying to feed it to me and they said, sundae, sundae. And when I Googled it, it was spelled like Sunday, as
like
in the ice cream
sundae.
dessert. I was like, oh, Sunday? Is this going to be some sort of sweet or something? And no.
It's pork blood pudding. From what I understand, most of the blood pudding in the UK is made with cow blood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I would be more comfortable with that, I think.
Haggis! I had haggis for the first time this year when some British friends came over from the UK to visit us here in France, and they brought a little haggis along with them. I fell in love with it immediately. I thought it was so delicious, and I definitely had more than my fair share of helpings. So imagine my despair when I found out that true Scottish haggis is actually banned in the United States.
That's
completely
so
banned.
What do all the Scots do in the States then?
Well, there is haggis. We do have haggis in America, but it's not genuine Scottish haggis because all imports are banned.
Okay.
And it has to be made in America. And it's also not genuine haggis because with real haggis, 12 to 15% of what's inside is sheep's lung. But with American haggis, there's no lung. So everything
Oh.
else is the same, but all the lung is gone.
Why is that?
So this is because the USDA has determined that during the slaughtering process, when they kill sheep, there are stomach fluids that have the potential to leak into the lungs during that butchering process. And those fluids, if you eat them, can make you sick. The USDA doesn't really trust slaughterhouses to clean lungs properly, and because so few people eat lung within the United States, I think it was just easier for them to do an outright ban of the whole thing rather than come up with regulations mandating how to clean lung and then ensuring that those regulations were followed. So that's why you can't find genuine haggis in the United States. USDA thinks that lungs have the potential to make you sick. Robbie Burns is turning in his grave. But is this a valid concern, and can haggis actually make you sick? I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. Real quick, if you haven't already, do click subscribe as well as like this video, because those are the two biggest things that you can do to help us grow this channel and continue spreading the praise and glory of haggis around the internet.
If you want to hear us sing the praises of haggis further, be sure to watch this video here. To join our haggis cult, go down to the description and join our Patreon.
The next haggis service will be this coming Saturday at 6 p.m. British time, right here on this YouTube channel.
We hope to see you all there. Peace be with you, my children.
We gotta do some haggis symbol.
Now, what's a haggis symbol? We can turn over the haggis and then hand it to them.
Oh yeah, this thing. Or is it the stabbing the haggis?
Like, not everyone.
You stab and tear. No. Let's just stick with a round haggis shape. Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Grace.
We're the Wandering Ravens.
And we will see you guys next time.
Bisous!